Freedom of Association Amendment Bill, Committee Stage continued. Employment Relations, Secret Ballot for Strikes Amendment Bill, Committee Stage.
I declare the House in committee for further consideration of the Education Freedom of Association Amendment Bill and consideration of the Employment Relations Secret Ballot for Strikes Amendment Bill.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Chairman.
The House and Committee for further consideration on Education Freedom of Association Amendment Bill in consideration of the Employment Relations Secret Ballot for Strikes Amendment Bill.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Grant Robertson.
I move that the committee report progress.
We have a motion. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. No. The noes have it. Ayes have party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
57 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
42 votes in favour.
Green Party.
9 in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party. Progressive.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Mana. Honourable Chris Carter.
1 in favour.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 53, the noes are 63. The motion is not agreed to. Members, we move first.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
A point of order, Ian Lees-Galloway.
Mr. Chair, I move that the committee report progress.
That decision has already been declared, and I don't believe that the motion is in order.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallow.
I move that we report progress in order to get a Speaker's ruling on the decision that you have just made.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. No. Ayes? No. No, I think the House needs to just consider. I'll put the motion again. Those in favour will say aye. Contrary, no. Noes have it. Ayes have. Noes have. Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
57 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
42 votes in favour.
Green Party.
9 in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party. Progressive.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Mana. Honourable Chris Carter.
1 in favour.
The ayes are 53, the noes are 63. The motion is not agreed to.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Honourable Trevor Mallow.
Mr. Speaker, before I seek leave for the Speaker to be recalled, I'd like you to contemplate whether you are fully up to date with the rulings of the House. So in the old days, and I think probably in the days when both of us spent most of our parliamentary career, there was not an ability to move the same motion twice. So that has been rescinded in a review of standing orders, and, for example, closures can be moved now a number of times. There is no requirement for there to be speeches between those motions. So I'd like to ask you to review your ruling now, and if you don't, I will seek leave for the House to recall the Speaker so that we can get a considered ruling on it.
Well, I have been reflecting, and to the best of the knowledge that I have, in scanning the megabytes of the information that I have got. I have made a ruling on the best information that I have with me at the time, and am confident that that's the case. So that is why I ruled in that manner. Honourable Trevor Miller.
Mr. Speaker?
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Speaker be recalled in order to consider the ruling you have just made.
Point of order.
Mr. Chair, could I just clarify, is it a motion to recall the Speaker or seeking leave to...
No, there's a motion. There is a motion that has been passed, and the member did ask me for a reflection. I made that ruling, and subsequent to that he has again moved the motion, and I guess that's in relation to the ruling which I have just given. So...
repeat the motion?
Yeah, no, he's just moved that the Speaker be recalled, simple as that. So the question is that the Speaker be recalled. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. I shall report to the Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, the House has determined that you should be recalled to pass a ruling on a ruling which I had made. Mr. Speaker, the House did return to the matters as declared by you as you departed from being Speaker a few minutes ago. As I was announcing the bill that the House was to progress in the Committee of the Whole, a motion was received that the Speaker, we report progress. I duly put the motion. It was defeated 63 votes to 53. I then commenced to read the process of what the House and Committee would do, and immediately the same motion was moved again, at which point I ruled that the same motion could not be, in the exact same words, procedural motion, passed again. And on that point there was a motion that you be recalled. It was defeated. I was then asked as Speaker, as Chair, to reflect whether my ruling on reflection was correct. I thought about that, and to the best of my knowledge I thought that it was, so I ruled that the same motion, same procedural motion, could not be put twice. And at that point there was another motion to recall you as Speaker to rule on the matter, and accordingly we've come to that point in the proceedings.
Mr. Chairman, could I just ask before you leave, what were the circumstances where the motion was first moved to report progress? Did the member have the call to speak in the committee?
I was just reading the bill. I was just getting to about the stage where I said, when the House last addressed this matter, we were on clause 6A. I didn't get that far.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first issue is that the motion that the committee report progress can only be made by a member who has the call. It cannot be made by way of point of order. And so it may be questionable whether that motion was actually in order at the time. That, though, that is, as I understand it, not the crucial issue that I've been recalled to rule on. The interesting crucial issue, as I understand it, that I've been recalled to rule on is whether or not, once the committee has made a decision, whether or not the same procedural motion, can be put an endless number of times. And this is an interesting issue of order. I well understand why you, Mr. Chairman, ruled the way you did, because normally once the committee or the House has voted, especially once the committee has voted on a matter, that is normally the end of that matter. With respect to legislation, if the House has decided on an amendment, that is the end of that matter, and endless further amendments can't be put to try and overturn that. With this particular procedural issue, I must confess that I'm not 100% certain that the same rules apply, and I'm going to seek some advice on this one, because what troubles me, I'll be honest with the House, I'll be honest with the committee, is what troubles me is that the standing orders provide for this provision for the committee to make a decision, to report progress, and for the report to be made, and for the House to then vote on that matter. If we end up in a situation where endless motions can be put to the committee to report progress that are all defeated, we end up in a totally unworkable situation, because that is clearly not in the interests of the House. And I will hear the Honourable Trevor Mallard before I seek advice on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you are getting advice, and you're absolutely right in the situation that would inevitably come through what is probably, in my opinion, a gap in the Speaker's orders and in the standing orders at the moment. And I think you will recall, as I indicated to the Chairman, that in the past, procedural motions, for example, closure motions, once defeated, the government couldn't move them again, and then there was a point later on where the same member couldn't move the same motion twice, and that again is something which has been changed, and it is my understanding that as a result of those changes, the multiple moving of the same motion, where it is a procedural motion, is allowed. Mr. Speaker, I do want to make it clear that normally an opposition wouldn't contemplate that sort of approach, but I think it's fair to say that the opposition today are feeling somewhat aggrieved at a breach of the right of members to debate a bill which they would otherwise have preferred on this side of the House. And as you're aware, it's something that the House has jealously guarded, the right of opposition to have much more involvement in dictating the terms of the fortnightly members' days, the few hours that occur for genuine members' time than would otherwise be the case. So it's certainly my view, sir, that there is an ability for members to do that. I accept, of course, the first part of your ruling, I think, was absolutely correct. The fact that it should have been done by way of speech and not by way of point of order. And I'm sure that if you rule in a way which I think would indicate that there's something here for the Standing Orders Committee to look at, if there is a gap in the rules, then I think that's acceptable. And in future, I'm sure the motion will be moved by members who have sought the call.
Mr. Speaker. This may be somewhat unusual for me to respond, but the whole thing did happen quite quickly, and I now understand the point that the Honourable Trevor Mallard made. And when he asked me to reflect on whether I thought it was in order, there is a pertinent difference between a closure motion not being accepted by the chair in the House and a closure motion being defeated by vote. And it's my understanding by all the meeting procedure anywhere that I know that a procedural motion cannot be put twice. And so I saw that pertinent difference, and then I made the ruling accordingly, and so that's the rationale for my decision.
I ask members' indulgence while I consider the advice that I've been given on this matter, because this is a serious issue.